Hey. It's your weekly Corner Späti. It is me, Ciarán. I am joined by Uma.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hello.
The main topic of the episode, which we will get to in a bit, is about how Europe is been cucked and completely humiliated.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the topic every week.
It's been getting, it has been like legitimately getting worse. I think it's then, because I was having this like reflection this morning of that, then it's like, this could only happen under a German-led, a CDU German-led government, because they are the only country in Europe that still is like knees down in front of Trump, you know, with his dick just in their face. Every other country is like, what? Like,
well, like, I mean, Keir Starmer is giving Germans a run for their money.
This doesn't matter. They're not part of the European Union anymore. They can get cucked in a whole other different way. They can get cucked at the same time, technically, if they want to.
Okay. Kind of related, because I have some stuff to do before we get into our main topic.
What? Oh, you have to tell us more about another country that's also being cucked by the U.S. Sorry, Ciarán. They don't.
I do love now that the UK has left the European Union and they've left for a while. Ireland gets like a bunch of statistics now of like, cost of living is 4 times higher than the European average, or like rent is now like the highest in the European Union. We get all these headlines because really, like, the UK was really tracking down that average to make Ireland's like insane rent seem a bit more normal. But now that they're gone, it's just like, no, this situation's fucked. We should have rents like fucking Latvia. Why do we have? Yeah. Why is it more expensive than Paris here?
Yeah, but also now, due to the tariffs, it's gonna be one island, 2 different tariff system.
Yeah, making Northern Ireland real weird.
Yep.
Yeah,
unlike before when it was normal.
We should have here's a suggestion. No one's ever thought about this before. What about the one Ireland policy?
No one has ever suggested this.
Wow, Nick, you're gonna reunify Ireland.
Yeah, I can't believe Northern Ireland lost its seat at the UN.
Yeah, crazy.
Like in the 50s when we all realized
the 50s,
the bigger Ireland was the real one.
Yeah, wild. I don't know. Starting up something new. Let me know if it hits.
Yeah. We'll throw out some feelers.
You know what? That could be, in all the stupidity of op-ed writers, or like, just how that like occupation is literally, today I learned, that take is out there. Like,
yeah, it's good. Yeah, there's like people out there who are like, conservatives from like Fine Gael, like, who are suddenly interested in reunification for like, let's make a bunch of money reasons, and like we'll pitch like, oh, great brand new idea I just had. What if there was like a federal Ireland based on like the provinces? And it's like, that's the Era Nua plan from one of the branches of the IRA from the 70s.
No, I mean even dumber. I mean not even an Irish person. I mean like Andreas Kluth level of stupidity.
Oh, yeah,
like, today I learned about that there's 2 Irelands. Here how we solve it. One Ireland.
It's like that American YouTuber that she went viral because...
Oh, the video.
She was like, American learns about Irish history, and it's like her just being like, like the very
big,
wide-eyed, open mouth, like...
hands on cheeks, kind of like...
Yeah.
And there's a picture of like, I don't know, the IRA next to her or something.
There's like a black and white photo from Belfast in the 60s.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, God.
Yeah. God bless reaction YouTube. Right before, like earlier today, not right before, I did encounter like 6 Americans from like somewhere in the Rockies who live in just like a McMansion kind of situation.
Somewhere in the Rockies. All right, look at you, Mr. Fucking Geography over here.
I always get confused about Midwest because it wasn't Midwest. It's like mountain time kind of like part of America. It's the
part of the country I'm from.
I know.
It's just the west of the United States.
I know how to define you. You're from the Southwest, but I don't know what to do with like the Northwest that is at the West Coast. Like, what do you call that?
It's just Western U.S.
It's
grand. It's just the U.S., baby.
They're from a part of America that most Europeans forgets exists.
They're from part of America that probably most Americans forget exists.
Yeah. But they're like 6 of them. They're in their 50s, living in their big mansion on a giant L-shaped couch, and all they do is react to like one episode of a critically acclaimed anime. And I'm just like, this is so stupid. Anyway, time to add all of their videos to my watch later.
Beautiful. Yeah.
They're in their 50s?
Oh yeah, it's called like Parents React or something. I can't remember.
What else are you gonna do when you fucking live in Montana, though? I mean, for real. Like,
they've got 37,000 subscribers, and I'm like, you know what? I will film every time I watch an anime for content.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think that Corner Späti should just do an ideological shift of that, but Europe. So I know nothing. I'm dumb, but I'm like, wow, like, you know, what if? Yeah. Like I said, what if One Ireland? It's like the thing too. Wait, sorry. Back to One Ireland really quickly. It is that then like that silly video of like I show speed like unironically, but I also just unawarely just being like pro Irish unification.
I really do need to watch like every video of I show speed interacts with like Europe.
Just Europe. The thing that's so funny about him too all the time is I've never seen someone like just stumble over themselves onto constantly kind of like the correct opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just
it's kind of a talent though.
Yeah,
especially if you're ignorant, it's so easily you could go the wrong way. And he seems like he's okay. You know?
The true like finding something out via first principles in the truest sense of the word. This man has 0 priors. Nothing is biasing him.
Yeah. Only thing that then changes his opinion is his love of Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is it. That is the only thing that goes through his mind. Nothing else.
And then at the same time, for some reason, he's hanging out with the Prime Minister of Lithuania, and that's a whole video.
Yeah, exactly. He is weirdly two-faced. But you know what? Of all of like, that's the thing that's so crazy too, is just like of all those celebrities, it's like that kind of weird internet realm that I don't understand. I don't think that there's been someone more vocally pro-Palestine than I Show Speed, which is like bizarre.
In that niche. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like in that niche of like, you know, a little stupid.
No, of course. Yeah, sure. Because it is like, it is this very weird. I mean, first off, it's an incredibly toxic realm of the internet.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like,
I heard a comedian describe Twitch as like Hassan and then 20 Hitlers.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Speaking of Palestine, speaking of the dumbest shit imaginable, I do have oh my god, this was from like an OSINT Twitter account, but which
so
you know,
trustworthy source.
Absolutely, but you know, still. Quote, after Israeli Navy commandos intercepted the Handala ship en route to Gaza from Italy, a 70-year-old Norwegian woman on board was caught smuggling 21 units of hashish.
Units, specifically. Not a specific measurement, but unit.
It is the Always Sunny episode of, like, one crack rock? Some hidden in her body. The drugs were handed to police for investigation. And then there's the, like, picture of the, like, you know, police report, here's what we found. It's just like 20 packets of snus.
That was...
Yeah. So I 100% believe that because there was a 70-year-old Norwegian woman on board.
Yeah.
And they're definitely that stupid as well that they say
100%. Yeah, the Israeli military is the stupidest military on earth. I mean, aside from maybe like the U.S. military is not nearly as dumb as the Israeli one. But yeah, no, of course the diaper brigade would think that then snus is hash or whatever, and then the fact that then it's smuggled in on her person meant it was in her mouth.
Yeah, like in parts of her body, like she was in the middle of
she was in
like having one
like,
or whatever.
I mean, she is a Scandi. They are constantly just like
it's so. The first time that I was offered one, it was like during the 2020, I think, or before that. And it was at an Irish pub in Barcelona. And I was like so bewildered by the concept of it.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you put it in your mouth and you're just salivating around it?
Yeah.
Like, this is
To the corner
disgusting.
Späti listener who is wondering, have we talked about this before? We have.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think we have,
Regularly.
yeah.
It is. It's just very, very funny. Like, I mean, okay, it's very funny around, hey, Israel did it again. They kidnapped a bunch of people. Like, the way the story of any kind of like freedom flotilla is talked about is like, well, you're kind of leaving out that it was in international waters.
Mhm.
Israel doesn't have jurisdiction there. You can't just like snatch and detain people from international waters. That's
Can we
yeah.
just get rid of this place? I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
also, like, I think it's crazy that what you were saying, Ciarán, is that it is international waters, and absolutely no government of the kidnapped kidnapped activists has said anything. Not even like Sanchez, who is supposed to be, Spain is supposed to be one of the most pro-Palestine governments,
Yeah.
and there were two activists in the Handala, and crickets, whatever. And one of them arrived. Yes, so they were detained more than 3 days, which is illegal, obviously, besides the whole kidnapping thing. And then one of them arrived yesterday, and he was saying that because there's no like direct flights from Tel Aviv to Madrid and Tel Aviv to Norway, and they left him and this 70-year-old Norwegian woman barefoot, because they stole like almost everything of them. No money, nothing, barefoot in like the Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris. And they had nothing because they had been like, they stole everything of them. This 70-year-old woman was barefoot in like in an airport in the middle of a country that is not hers. And he said that the Al Jazeera like journalists that lived in Paris actually housed them for the night, which is really nice because they knew that they were gonna be deported to Paris. So that's actually really nice. And I assume the woman is already back in Norway, and he arrived yesterday. But
yeah. I need to investigate because, again, as you're mentioning with Sanchez, Norway is also meant to be one of the like good European governments on this issue. And also I feel like there should be maybe some more public pressure to speak about this when it's like a retiree who's like gone through this. Is like, I'd feel like if this was Ireland, I feel like you'd be forced to make a comment on that because the woman was 70.
yeah.
Like, unfortunately, kind of special treatment for the elderly, and like not that any of the other people based on their age didn't like suffer as well, because like one of the other examples we have here is Chris Smalls, I believe is he still detained at the moment?
No, he's free. He's
free now,
arriving to Newark today or tomorrow. Today, I think.
Right.
Today.
But for anyone who didn't catch, Chris Smalls is on the boat. You might know him for being one of the co-founders of the Amazon Union in the United States. And he was beaten and choked, I believe is...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He
by
was
the IDF in
assaulted,
custody.
basically. Yeah. The only one that was properly, fully, physically assaulted. And what a coincidence. He's the only one who's black.
One of these things is not like the other. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Israel's, it's that thing too of like, especially to the, there is something that then always leaves a bad taste in my mouth within like the good boys and girls of Europe, of like, the Scandinavian countries or Spain, of like, God forbid that then like you're only allowed to then do the pro-Palestine stuff within like a very small realm. If you do anything then outside of that, it's still, you still get scolded the same way as you would in, say, maybe not like Germany or something like that, but like one of Israel, of other allies of Israel, that the entirety of the EU. And it is just kind of, I don't know, it is even like, what was it, Sweden last time with like Greta, they like had no comment, They were just like, oh, like she's like, you know, like the Swedish government isn't responsible for her, blah 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 blah. It's like you actually kind of are, even in the sense of if someone's doing something, it's the sense too of like, you know, like.
Again, they weren't doing anything illegal though, because they were in international waters.
No, I mean, well, that's the thing that then gets confusing, right? Is that according to Israel, they are doing something illegal. Yeah. You know, they're trying to break a fucking blockade, which that's the thing that then this is why this shit's always so fucking weird, and why international law isn't real is because this all just comes down to like these individual sovereignties of one. Israel's going to claim that then anything that they do is legal, just like how the same way that then, sorry to make the comparison, but I'm going to do it. The Nazis, the Holocaust is legal in that terminology as well. You know, it's like this thing too of like every, you know, stupid country's national sovereignty of this shit can't like, you know, like is not going to be like overlapped over some like, you know, unless you are a African country or Russia, international law does not matter to you, you know?
Hang on. You can be Serbian.
You can be Serbian, exactly, because you were on the wrong side. And it is just this constant thing, too, of like, I mean, we need to stop, like, I don't I'm kind of wondering in the sense, too, of just like, how much is this? Because everyone's like, oh, this is like the biggest challenge that we've had in international law since, like, you know, whatever, the fucking Holocaust, or the end. I guess the Holocaust created this realm of international law, but it's like it was never designed to actually work this way. It was designed to maintain U.S. hegemony. How can you still not see that? You know?
It's interesting that they even would you even call it a challenge, because it's like, well, what is the nature of the challenge? The nature of the challenge seems to be actually applying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is the greatest. Like,
don't do that though.
I built a roof, and then the first time it rains, like, this is the greatest challenge the roof has ever faced. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know what else it's meant to do, man.
Yeah, it's like that leaked memo that came out with the ICC of like when they were when they like brought up the charges for Netanyahu, and they were like, well, no, like these are not for this people. This is for Russia, and this is for people that we don't like, and for people like, or people who fall out of favor of the United States, like Duterte, for example, you know, or. I mean, these are extrajudiciary killings, but like someone like, you know, Noriega in like Nicaragua, you know, like not that he ended up in front of the ICC, but it's like, you know, you're as good as you are to the U.S. until you can't serve them anymore. And I'm kind of like, it could be a point that then like Netanyahu comes to this point, in order to kind of save face. You know, I think that we've kind of talked about this before, and it feels like in the sense the way that then like other countries are kind of going about it, that probably will be the most like likely outcome in order for like Zionism in Israel and the U.S. influence to at least like have a bit more longevity, you know?
I think all of this kind of speaks to the power of how much people believed in international law. Because this is something I see particularly with Germans as well.
Well, stop it. The corner Späti line is stop it. Stop lying to yourself.
I'm not going to be against it, because it's like you believe in international law as written, and as written seems like a pretty good idea. How it works in practice, it's fucking miserable.
Yeah, it's just a different extension of colonialism. I mean, let's be real, dog.
But I think you're bumping up against the like, okay, we're kind of taking the difference between how it's practiced and how it's written a little too far. Like, it should be applied as written. Because I've seen that with Germans who are like, kind of like pro-Israeli in the sense of like, they do believe Israel should exist. They don't really buy the idea that it should be like a multi-ethnic democratic society or whatever. And that kind of sucks. They'll twist it in their own words. But they're still kind of like, because, you know, international law was written about them, basically, about Germans.
Yeah, they can't really have an opinion about it.
Yeah, but they are kind of like, they do believe in the international rules-based order, and they see this, like, Israel getting away with all this stuff being, like, very existentially troubling to them. Even if they're like, yeah, Israel should exist, blah, blah, blah. They're just like, this is bad. You can't let countries get away with breaking these rules.
You say that, but this is kind of the thing that I love about this country right now, right? Is that then like the truest racist, disgusting freaks who will go to hell. And I have to believe, don't I? Like, I have to, like, I've said this, I've mentioned this every week. I am becoming, I'm no longer an atheist simply in the sense of out of hatred and spite. I want there to be a hell. Heaven I don't give a shit about. I can die and go nowhere. That doesn't bother me. But I do hope that these people, like the Tobias Huch and all these other, like, whether they be people who are in like governmental positions in Germany, or whether they just be fucking weirdo, sicko commentators, or just posters.
I saw Jan Fleischhauer on TV.
Jan Fleischhauer will be in the 7th realm of hell and just like getting just ground up by Satan. And you can picture that however you want. I don't care. But these people are like, the sense of that then that, oh, well, these people aren't starving. It's just Pallywood, this and that and that. I hope you go to hell. I just do. I have nothing nice to say to you. I'm not even going to like insult you about that you're stupid or this and that and that. I wish you nothing but the worst in either this life or the next. And hopefully for the next, because that is eternity. And you're done.
The speaking of like the starvation images, we are seeing a bunch of like liberal commentators and people in power who were for what was happening a couple of months ago suddenly realize that defending this is no longer tenable. Like, one that strikes me is Matt Iglesias. Matt Iglesias has been like very pro everything the IDF has said, and now is suddenly like, yeah, all the people on the left were lying before, but now it's true.
Yeah.
A very weird position to like take, but still.
Matt Iglesias might, though, be one of the stupidest people on earth.
Fair.
Like, that is just like, I've never seen this. It's like him and like Nate Silver and like all just like the nerd American lib of just like constantly just like falling over their own shoelaces tied together and then
very
being
Obama
like, oh, it's very Obama era losers. Just kind of got put onto like a pedestal just out of chance because they were right once. And then they've made a career of just stumbling over themselves and then having to constantly be like, oh, I guess the left was right, but I still hate them. They're the bigger problem than like, this fascistic international right or whatever.
Yeah.
That I also support somehow because I support Israel.
Well, like, they're stopping that or realizing that it's no longer tenable to support these things. You can usually tell there's like two tests, the two like heuristics you can apply to see if this is like, if someone talking like negatively about what Israel is doing now, if they're a bad person, it's very easy to tell. One heuristic is, have they apologized for the stuff they said before? For example, Keir Starmer has talked about like, oh, the starvation is too much, but has not apologized for saying that like water and electricity can be cut off from Gaza. That's fine. Israel has a right to do that. Even though, one begets the other very clearly.
Yeah, you're allowed a little bit of war crimes as a treat.
Yeah, and I love the causes, I hate the consequences kind of shit.
Everything that we've claimed Russia of doing, you're actually allowed to do that.
Yeah.
If not more.
The second one that I find very interesting, particularly with like political kind of like heel turns at the moment or whatever, is that everyone who was correct but too early is still being punished. Like, British government, British media is still coming around to the idea that Israel's gone too far, but don't worry, NECAP is still under investigation for terrorism act, or like Palestine Action is still a prescribed terrorist group, even though we probably agree with them now.
Yeah, that's because NECAP, though, supports Hezbollah and Hamas or whatever fucking shit that they say, right? It's always the sense... Yeah, because that's the thing, too, is that it's the same as well with here. It'll be the same thing of like, oh, okay, yeah, well, maybe the Palestine activists are right about something, but actually they're still Hamas. They could, like, it's the having your cake and eat it, too, of like, well, I don't like what Israel's doing right now, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's like the same thing, too, where like France is like, oh, we're going to recognize Palestine only if Hamas lays down their weapons. Hate to... maybe throw a wrench into that idea, but if you were like actively committing genocide against me, I don't think I would like not want access to the thing that is killing, to resist that.
It's not a ceasefire. You're just calling for one side to unconditionally surrender.
Exactly. Yeah. That one side should be Israel, but we're
there are two positive-ish things that I should bring up before we go to our main topic. One is that lost in all the hubbub of like France is weird, we're going to recognize Palestine. The UK's we're going to threaten to recognize Palestine. It's like, hey, why does Israel view that as a threat? Do we want to interrogate that? Lost in that sauce, Malta is going to unconditionally recognize Palestine. So, yay. And probably more meaningful, Slovenia is putting in a legal ban on weapons exports, any kind of like weapons going to Israel, any kind of weapons traveling through their airspace to Israel. They're the first European country to do it, and they explicitly stated the reason they're doing it is because they're pissed off at the EU for dragging their feet on this issue.
Nice. Okay, Slovenia.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Slovene anti-aircraft gun just like shoot down like
just like a Yugoslav era.
yeah just like shoot down whatever. I guess I'm assuming Germany has C-130s just like packed full and in the weirdest beginning to like a European conflict.
Yeah. The guy arming it looks like Slavoj Žižek, but just somehow more disheveled.
Yeah.
If that's even
more
possible.
stains on his t-shirt. Yeah. You know what? We just have to. I have to just give a shout out to the only country who's good on this issue. That is North Korea, who only recognizes Palestine and does not recognize Israel.
Hilarious.
Or I guess the GDR also did, right? Like, but they don't exist anymore. So, damn.
I think was the Eastern Bloc like a 2-state though? I think. Can't remember.
Oh well, like this is the funny thing of like Poland was like, oh well, we recognize Palestine in 1988. Why can't Europe follow our lead? It's like, sweetie, that's because you were a cool socialist country, not because you're an absolutely weird right-wing despotic hellscape.
My favorite one we've talked about before on the show, which was the Czech government trying to weasel out of that, where they're like, oh yeah, Czechoslovakia recognized Palestine, but it was like non-binding. It was just advisory. So Czech Republic doesn't recognize Palestine. There is a Palestinian embassy in like Prague, and they're like, hang on, what? And then like this was like a media hubbub in like Czech news for a bit, and it's like, yeah, we called the Slovakians, and they're like, yeah, we're working on the basis of that exact same law, and we do recognize Palestine, so we thought it was binding.
Why can't we just have the like Simpsons moment where actually Lenin does like come back and
USSR,
reunite.
I thought you disbanded.
Yeah. Yeah, do that right now, please. I'm sure that then Europe would be better off.
Speaking of Europe being in a
better
state,
off. What if it wasn't?
What if it wasn't? What if we were entering a century of humiliation? So the EU-USA trade deal happened, quote unquote, that might be interrogated later, in Scotland, which is weird.
Because Trump wanted to golf the whole time.
Well, no, he went because he's opening a new golf course in Aberdeen on top of the one he already has there, and he has another one also in Scotland. So he was going to visit like his already existing golf courses and do the whole little like ribbon cutting bullshit at his new golf course.
Yeah.
And so he had a private, it wasn't like an official state visit, it was a private visit, but he still met with Starmer, which also was fucking embarrassing. And von der Leyen, which is what we're talking about.
It was like a 45-minute meeing, and like he was like, I'm busy like hitting a ball, and then one of my aides places it roughly where I think it should be.
No, I mean, like the thing, like I just find it so funny because like that trip alone would be like enough to get him removed from office, but the U.S. is just too pussy. Like I find it so like can you think of another world leader, like at least like in like a major country, that then is doing a private business trip on behalf of his own company?
It's insane. It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
The fact that he still has Truth Social too is insane as well, because like
yeah, they technically owns that, doesn't he? Or it's like in the family or something.
yeah, but it's just like because I know that then it's like obviously it's like held by someone else, but for like
but like even with that, like every member of the Trump family has like a cryptocurrency at the moment. Like and like he's legislating on crypto at the moment, so it's like it's all just like the kind of shit that like the evil ambassador from like an 80s action film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, the kind of shit that like that government was up to. Like it would be like, yeah, you cannot kill me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm the ambassador of Slovakia, like a proud nation of corrupt despots.
Yeah, like it's comical.
Yeah. Oh, that whole meeting as well. He was just like talking, and von der Leyen was just staring off into middle distance.
It was so embarrassing. But it's also to add as well, like how crazy to use a private trip or whatever to do these insane deals as well. Like this is a very, very important deal. A lot of people's lives, money, etc. is at stake. And you're just using the 45 minutes between golf games to talk to the fucking EU commit. Oh my god, it's insane.
Like literally, he's just going to be like, and I'm just gonna. It's a greatest deal ever made. What do you think, Ursula? Well, I think shut up now. Here's a song from Cats.
Exactly. No, literally, it was so embarrassing as well to watch it. It's just he's talking over her, or just like not even letting her speak. She's completely. She knows she fucked up anyway.
Like I feel like he was about to insist she doesn't know English.
Right? Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Like we need a translator, please.
No, not even that. I think she would like speak to him in like the slightly accented like English accent she had, like German accented, and he'd just be like, "Wow, I'm fluent in German. I never knew."
To be fair, he's not far off. If that were the case, yeah.
God damn it. All right, so oh god, we should. Okay, so in short, basically it seems like the EU got absolutely fucking dog walked.
Wait, I'm sorry. Remember when Mance gave Trump his like the like Urkunde of his like great
I
bet Trump probably did think, wow, like I speak German now because of that.
Well, I mean, there's nothing more American than like having like some European grandfather and then thinking you're that culture. Like that is all Americans
I would know nothing
do.
about that. What are you talking about?
So yeah, EU got completely dog walked. Financial Times did like a good report on this of how like America took advantage of like the EU's lack of unity at every step of the way. Like big example that they gave, people complained about was, there was this, and it's still talked about, like $93 billion retaliatory tariffs program that the EU has, right? And then they were like, that probably doesn't actually exist because every like trade minister and prime minister from every national government just came in and asked for like a carve out that would benefit their country. And then, like, after, if all of those demands were met, the retaliatory package is probably only about $9 billion. They have great examples of Ireland's very own Simon Harris, who's the current like trade minister, being instrumental in trying to make sure like a bunch of things got carve outs. Even like relatively, verbose, and we need to hit back and target the Americans. Emmanuel Macron was also going in being like, yeah, but carve outs for like French industry stuff, please. Bourbon and sex pastry. I don't know. So like, yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. I can go into the actual points of the deal and how it's already falling apart.
Yes, please do, because this does not seem like there's
No.
any longevity in any of this shit. And again, like as mentioned previously, this can only happen because of a German is at the helm of it. And I firmly believe that. I feel that then under any other, like if Ursula von der Leyen was not the head of the European Commission, we would have not had this, like, you know, bowing down immediately to the U.S. Yes, with, of course, all these other caveats. But there is this, like, the hilarity that the first and foremost, at least on like face level, that Europe wants to appear in good standing with this psychotic American regime is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
But also, like, it was supposed to. What you were saying about it, they're already falling apart because they were supposed to come into effect today, 1st of August, and now yesterday was said like, oh no, let's do the 7th of August. Now it's like a few days more. But let's go into the deal itself because it just makes no sense.
Yeah. It's also interesting, like 7th is the Thursday. That's a weird day for it. Because like Trump is also currently obsessed with doing these things on the weekend because like that way the markets won't be affected. Quote unquote. They are affected. It's not great. Anyway,
can't be affected when the stock market is closed, Ciarán. I don't know what you're talking about.
They'll never open again.
Global economy just the global economy just takes a little nap.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we should say one of the reasons it's not falling apart is because like this is just like an agreement to an agreement. There's nothing binding here. So like it's also kind of embarrassing that like Europe has basically humiliated itself for not even getting Trump like on paper for any of this. So like his ability to retaliate is still like, you know, there, or to escalate, which also seems like it's already happening. So agreement number 1, 15% tariffs on most goods from the EU into the US, but not vice versa. Now, people are rightly pointing out that like, oh, that's probably bad for the American consumer. It means like American prices go up, but ours don't. But another way that this is bad is it means that like American-made products get access to European supply chains to make their stuff if they want, but European equivalents could not get access to American supply chains to make the shit that they wanted to make. So it's like there's very uneven kind of practice there that probably fucks over Europe over the long term, unless we just like ditch America completely and pivot to China.
You should. Yes. Yeah. I was just about to say that. This is what needs to happen. Yes. Absolutely. You beat me to it. Why do you want American goods? They're garbage.
I mean, to be fair, the French Parliament is basically saying the exact same shit at the moment, so we'll get to that.
Because I'm Ciarán, because I'm tapped in. I'm French.
His most American accent, just sweet Nick. This is already falling apart because the White House and the Commission disagree on like where the 15% will apply. Like America's like, oh, it'll apply to everything. The EU's insisting there's like a carve out for pharmaceuticals, and also like, which we'll see what happens. The EU will buy $750 billion of U.S. energy. This would be the European Union tripling its American energy imports, even across the space of 3 years, which they said they would do.
I'm so glad that we nuked Nord Stream.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? That was totally worth it. So that then we can... It's almost like this is calculated by the United States in order to do this. But, you know, I don't want to be conspiratorial over here.
Not even calculated, but I think you can just argue that, like, since fracking, America has gone from being, like, a fossil fuel importer to a fossil fuel exporter. And that just changes your, like, how do you operate with other countries?
The United States has always been a fossil fuel exporter. This is one of the weirdest things that then, like, conservatives have been, like, really good about, like, kind of capturing the stupid imagination of dumb people. Is that then yes, fine. There are other countries that the United States like does, want oil from, and this and that and da 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 da. But it's not like the United States doesn't have a massive natural gas industry that they export like across the world to. It's just that they're like sad of the fact that there's like other countries that also happen to have this as an export. They want to control all of it, and that's stupid and unrealistic, and they will literally murder like millions of people in order to do this.
Yeah. I mean, like that's specifically Jean-Luc Mélenchon's like reading of like what's happening with like Israel, Gaza, and Iran. That it's just like America wants to basically destroy Iran or bring it into the American fold, and they view the price of doing that is letting Israel have their treats.
Yeah,
to be like the reliable partner in the region. Yeah,
and this is why I do feel that then like at the end of the day, if there is like a massive threat to the American empire, like collapsing at a faster rate, the US will just like nuke a bunch of countries. Like that is how this isn't to be funny. The United States believes wholeheartedly that their like ideology is like we either lead it or the world can't exist. And I don't think people realize this like as like not being American, that is like how Americans go about and they'd be fine with it. Like at the end of the day, if something happens and like let's say that China or whatever this and that becomes like a bigger threat, or Iran, the United States will just nuke China and Iran like simultaneously, if not North Korea on top of it too. It's gonna like I don't want it to happen, but it is a psychotic evangelical, and I don't mean evangelical in like a religious like actual Christian sense, but in the sense of spreading bullshit liberalism and whatnot. The U.S. will nuke countries before it goes down, and it'll go down with a very brutal, in one last hurrah. And I'm not the only person who thinks this, so.
I mean, I'm more kind of hoping for like a Soviet Union style collapse of the United States, where there isn't really an opportunity for anyone to press the nuclear button because it's just chaos.
Nope. Unfortunately, it won't be that way.
I think it will be. I think we're already looking at their like Afghanistan. I think that's what Israel is. Anyway,
Afghanistan wasn't their Afghanistan.
Weirdly, Afghanistan wasn't their Afghanistan. Yeah. So anyway, with the $750 billion U.S. energy thing, like that's kind of falling apart because it's not possible. Like Europe doesn't have like an energy gap that bad. Like heating bills have gone up, but the gap has been more or less filled with like there was an increased imports from Norway, there was increased imports from Azerbaijan. Like Europe is not actually struggling for energy. The rolling blackouts like didn't happen, and like doesn't seem like it's likely to happen other than I don't know, like we just get real fucking stupid about it. But we don't need this much, and it's going to cook the planet. So this is bad. The EU invests $600 billion in strategic areas. Trump was very happy with that. Commission has already come back being like, yeah, it was a suggestion. The commission does not have a power to compel anyone to do that.
I love how the EU
Trump probably
work.
doesn't know that though.
No, he does not.
Like he fully walked out of that meeting just thinking, yeah, this is all settled. Europe is gonna do this because this woman is telling me this. So,
yeah, this very scary woman is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have asked her what the European for biggest deal was. Yeah, so there's that. The purchases of U.S. weapons was mentioned. Europe says that wasn't discussed, but like,
yeah, especially what is it? Yesterday, another F-35 just exploded.
Oh, absolutely. We're all going to die.
That's actually Lockheed Martin. I'm sorry, buddy.
So, the tapestry of,
or is it what is it? The other one, Gunthrop, whatever. That's who makes the F-35.
Yeah, Tyson or whatever. Yeah.
No. You just mixed a German company and American company. But I like where you're going with that. I like where your head's at.
Yeah. So they just say that's just Trump's impression. The next one is allow the EUS access to key industries such as agricultural and like auto manufacturing by streamlining requirements and meeting American standards. So the EU denies they made any concession in that. But
what do you mean by meeting American standards? Doesn't like the U.S. have lower quality like control than Europe does?
That's what they mean. They mean EU lowers their standards so we can allow American food and American cars in.
Oh, okay. I thought I was thinking the other way around from Europe.
No.
Yeah, no, true. Because the U.S. has been like hammering on at like EU agricultural shit, being like, stop doing this. And Europe's like, we don't want your stuff. So,
we don't.
Yeah.
We don't need it either. This is another thing. If we don't need it, like Europe is, with the exception of like the handful of things that Europe can't grow because of climate, like coffee and shit, Europe is like agriculturally self-sufficient. Like we don't like, yeah, you get your food from like France, but like it's all from within the EU usually.
Yeah. I mean, we can like import American treats and have like a high tariff on them. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, just like a €17 box of Lucky Charms.
Sure.
I mean,
like we already have that. Yeah, it's already how it exists. Plus, they suck. Like that's the thing too. It would just be like it'd be a tariff for being an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can have like, better European treats. Like as someone from the US, and then whenever like, oh, like, well, what's like a treat that you like in the U.S.? I'm like, unless from like a few chip flavors or crisp flavors.
No,
I'm not.
I'm envisioning the future now. Look, I'm employed at a marketing agency in Athens. The hills around me are on fire. I am paid €5 an hour, even though this is a white collar job, and my main responsibility is trying to translate the catchphrase Reese's for breakfast into Greek for a new ad campaign.
Yeah, €30 a box.
Pre-tariffs.
Yeah.
Let's see. The existing sectoral tariffs are staying in place, such as 50% on steel and copper imports from the EU. The EU is saying that is not true. Those 50% copper and steel imports will only happen after a like quota is met. So like, your first one is free, I guess. Then the White House, the US and the EU intend to address unjustified digital trade barriers. And the EU flat out denies anything regarding, tech companies or digital goods were discussed.
Is this part of then also like the thing too with the digital shit and the AI shit where Trump has like really been levying Europe to be like he wants like a full embargo of Chinese goods in Europe? Was that also part of it, or am I thinking something completely different?
It's part of a rich tapestry for sure. I think it was can I pronounce his name correctly? Bruno Macias. He's Portuguese. He wrote for the New Statesman. He kind of made the argument that like, it was Inger Zolti and Jacobin who was making like, this is like Europe's third concession to American like new Cold War bullshit. The first was the like 2019 we view China as a strategic rival, I believe is the official EU language. And then the second was the whole like banning all the like green imports from, or like putting in excessive tariffs on Chinese EVs and solar panels in favor of American LNG. So it's great. There's getting into like reactions. I should say Merz and Maloney were jubilant on this deal. Macron was notably silent on Sunday evening, did not like congratulate von der Leyen or whatever. Francois Bayrou, who is the Prime Minister of France, I'm viewing his statement as Macron being like, I need you to say what I want to say. Said that basically it makes the point that it goes against the interests of Europeans and should not be ratified, calls it a submission. Using the language of Mélenchon, basically. More notable in French politics was Marine Le Pen, who had a huge rant on TV and on Twitter, calling it a political, economic, and moral fiasco. Speaking of the right wing, Viktor Orban basically, the Viktor Orban quote is, called Ursula von der Leyen a featherweight and said it wasn't a deal, it was Donald Trump eating her for breakfast.
Damn, that's crazy when you have like two of your biggest fans going against you. You know, like yeah. I thought, well, actually, no, that's true. Cause like Marine Le Pen's been very weird with the current Trump-led government, right? Where I thought Orban was like ride or die, but I guess not. Maloney is the true cuck in all this one too. You're right.
Yeah.
The future
we talked about it in a previous episode. I think you weren't on it. Was like me and Uma, but like Marine Le Pen does understand the mood of the French people quite well, and the French, like even the French
hate the Americans no matter what.
Do not like even the far right do not like the Americans right now. So there is. What was the last one that I had here? Oh, Pedro Sanchez's comments were really weird.
Oh yeah, he did something. I mean, you probably have it in notes, but he was like, I welcome them, but not really, but like ungerne, you know, like
it does feel kind of like mean girl kind of comment, like under like backhanded insult or whatever. I value the constructive negotiating attitude of the president. This is von der Leyen, president of the European Commission. In any case, I support this trade agreement, but I do so without any enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly. The enthusiasm thing. So strange.
What a bitch.
Might as well just like typed out meh, or like the Spanish for meh.
Yeah.
It's meh.
Yeah. I'm watching my shows right now. Fuck off.
Yeah, but I also don't understand why. Like, he could have just done a Macron and not said anything. But he was like, no, I'm going to be petty. I'm going to be a petty bitch. Like, I'm going to be nice enough that I can cover my back if they're like, oh, you talk shit about von der Leyen. I'm like, no, look, I command her, you know.
Yeah.
Great job at sucking. Yeah.
Exactly.
No one knows how to make a shitty trade deal like you, Queen.
Good job at not crying in front of the cameras.
It's like the go girl.
I love it too, though, because it's like it is this thing of like the EU is so fake that you know that like von der Leyen came out of that meeting being like, wow, I just fucking slam dunked. I did this massive trade deal. Everyone's gonna fucking love me. They're gonna high five me in the hallways, and she's just getting like just bitched out by every like right wing party, which is funnier. Yeah. And then also, just oh wow, you know, congratulations on just being shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's so one of the things that people are kind of like maybe clinging on to, maybe overly optimistically, maybe not, is that nothing's been ratified. A joint statement hasn't really been made unofficially. This will have to get the approval of like the commission, the parliament, and then a bunch of like state parliaments as well to go through.
So what you're telling me is it's not going to go through.
It's probably, well, like the longer this goes on, and the worse this starts to look. Because, like, really, realistically, what you want to do is you would have wanted to do this quickly.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done this quickly, and by the time people realize what the fuck has happened, it's too late. But if it takes a long time, there's, like, a lot of shit working against you. Every political current in Europe does not like it. The left don't like it because America's the great Satan. The libs don't like it because #resistance. The far right don't like it because stop being like, they view politics as like the big man's game. Stop being big manned by this queen from New York. So like it's just like bad. And then like also found out in the online discussion of this from very wonky Financial Times contributors, New Statesman authors, that kind of thing. The section of my Twitter that I like to think is like what Ted from Space Bremser's entire Twitter looks like.
You just quietly threw Ted under the bus on that one.
I want the Ted Twitter feed. Don't get me not get it twisted.
You're calling our friend a nerd.
Yeah, I'm a nerd too. But basically, like, someone was pointing out that there's recent, like, it was a survey commissioned by Politico. It was Democracy Perception Index, right? And one of the questions they asked a shit ton of countries, Africa, the entirety of Latin America, India, all that kind of stuff. One of the questions they asked is like, what, like, do you like America? Yes, no, maybe. And they also asked, do you like China? Yes, no, maybe. In most European countries, China is now viewed as more favorably than the United States, including countries you wouldn't suspect. Ireland, France, Italy, Sweden, Finland, Germany even. The exceptions are like in the EU are like Hungary, Romania, Poland, Lithuania, and the UK.
All you could get rid of all those countries. Like, I wouldn't care.
It's like wipe them off the map.
Yeah, you're mentioning my list of haters, and I don't care. Those are all countries that I don't care about. So, not that I care about Germany but those are like, that's like, yeah, you just named like the problem children of Europe. I don't care. Hungary, UK, get out of here.
There is like, I have like two last like pieces about this really, which is like, there's like one thing to kind of mirror your point, Nick, of like this happening under Ursula von der Leyen. I kind of agree, but for a different reason, which is during the like Nigel Farage, the EU is under existential crisis era, we did genuinely stock like the EU institutions with like accomplished politicians. Like Jean-Claude Juncker, there's lots of reasons to hate him, but like he did not leave Luxembourgish politics in disgrace. He like fundamentally changed that country. He turned it into a tax haven. He was like the one who single-handedly did that. He's going into a history book.
Yeah. That's his key into Luxembourgish Valhalla.
Basically. With the big post box in the sky.
Yeah.
Similarly, like Donald Tusk was head of the like council back then, and like he's not like a disgraced politician by any stretch.
No, but he's disgraced in his eating habits.
Sure, yes. But then like this is the European institutions have kind of like gone back to normal, which is to say a bunch of people who failed upwards. Like Flinton Ushi, fucking Kaya Kallas, like being pushed out of Estonian politics for being anti-Russian, but then breaking the sanctions and like making money from Russia.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Europe had its return moment, and it was this. It's just absolute just fail sons and daughters where they belong at the helm of European politics.
Like the New Statesman mentioned something at the beginning of their piece. This wasn't the point of their piece, but I did find it particularly striking. So I'm just going to read it here. In 2018, when Donald Trump threatened to impose tariffs on European cars, then President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, responded, "We can also do stupid." When Trump then imposed steel and aluminum tariffs, the EU responded by targeting Harley-Davidson motorcycles and bourbon. It wasn't long before a mini deal was struck between Jean-Claude Juncker and Donald Trump. Like, he got him to back down.
This is the thing, though, is that then, you know,
that
Jean-Claude Juncker.
Funny. The comment
yeah,
of
exactly.
Like, you know, also do stupid.
No, I mean, it really is, because this is the thing of that then Ursula von der Leyen and the CDU and like that whole German conservative like sphere of influence thinks that the United States is like good, and they like it, and they want to be like the US. That's why they look at the US like with like puppy dog eyes of like, oh, well, why can't we be like you? We're like Jean-Claude Juncker, from his just like European traditionalist perspective, the correct one is that the United States is a stupid country full of stupid people, and the tariffs on motorcycles, specifically Harley Davidson and bourbon, is like, oh, you fucking little gross pigs. We don't even want your dumb toys anyway. We'll put tariffs on those stupid things that you frolic around on fucking Route 66 with and get drunk with your cousins. We don't want that.
Literally just like Jean-Claude Juncker just like busting the door of one of his aides in the middle of a marathoning Sons of Anarchy, being like, we need to target the Americans. What do we go after? And he's
yeah. We go after a British guy with a pretending to be a motorcycle boss.
Yeah, British actors can no longer pretend to be Americans in movies. We'll tariff Viggo Mortensen like being in American movies.
Exactly. The one thing I was thinking of too with like the Ursula von der Leyen kind of like, do you think that this is very weird, out of nowhere? I've only thought of this because she has a new show on Netflix. What do you think Lena Dunham's opinion on Ursula von der Leyen is?
I don't think she knows who
I bet because she is hilariously like go girl, whatever, like girls in power, this and that and that.
Girl boss,
I can guarantee you that she would have an absolutely bonkers take on Oshie, and I would love to hear it. That is all I want to add.
I would love to hear. I enjoyed the new Netflix show, I will say.
I hated it. I thought
I enjoyed it. It was so shit that I loved it.
I'll watch it and be a tiebreaker.
It does it.
I
does
think,
this.
Ciarán, I think you'll like it.
No,
you and
I think
have more.
It does this thing too, where it's like, what if weird people had sex? And I hate that.
But listen, no.
Because
we can't be casting those stones. The three of us.
Yeah, true.
No. Whoa. Not. It's like stereotypical. I'm quirky, weird people. Not cool.
Yeah, but it's
weird.
not. That's the thing. It's not people. It's the one woman. It's a woman.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, but like, okay, sexist.
No, it's just gross.
No, but
Lena Dunham, for some reason, directs sex in the most disgusting ways possible.
Oh well, that was horrible because she's American. Americans don't know, like, not you specifically, Nick, but I mean, like,
I don't know how to have sex. That's fine.
No, I mean on TV, like shows.
I don't know how to have sex on TV.
They won't let me.
Oh my god. No, but you know what I mean? Like on TV, on American TV shows or movies, whatever, sex like always is just like the first sex scene that they have is like no condom, which insane. You just met. Why are you like? What's going on? Fully just in, like nothing, no nothing. And just like, and it is supposed to be like a hot scene. Like, what is going on here? It was horrible.
All right. I disagree simply on the fact that it's just the overall aura that I get out of any Lena Dunham directed sex scene is body horror more than it is of actual, like, it is awful. She should just stop giving her things to do. I hate her. Everything that she's produced it just disgusts me.
She's a weirdo.
She's evil. I hate her. And Girls was impossible to watch because it's so unreal. Like, it lives in this like weird Libby fantasy world of like, oh, what it must be like to be cool because I'm not actually cool. You know?
I will say I've never watched Girls. I don't think I would enjoy it.
I hated it. And
anyway,
also,
Maro Shachovich was quoted as saying about the train too.
Sorry, we went on a fucking tangent. I'm so sorry.
No, yeah,
it's not
Lena Dunham body horror movies.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna close out because we're approaching time here of just like there's been some chat about like what happens next. We kind of talked about like I read some pieces from people who like viewed this trade deal positively. No one is viewing it positively like on its own merits. They kind of view it as maybe like a strategic win. They're making the comparison to a lot of people are making the comparison to the Japan deal for like negatively and positively. But one of the things the trade minister of Japan is like literally quoted as saying, this is from like Ryosei Akazawa, who is the trade minister of Japan. Japan hopes no written deal will help keep U.S. trade war vague. They're basically like the idea of, yeah, sure, we're fine with the like tariffs. They also got 15% tariffs, but all that other stuff we promised, like, he'll be so distracted with other bullshit that will never actually be put to paper. It will never happen. So we'll just get like relatively low tariffs compared to like what India is being hit with right now or what Indonesia is being hit with right now. And we'll just like ride it out. I think there's a problem with that line of thinking being like, the American opposition, the Democrats, never really undo things that the Republicans did. Is a huge one. And like, I think even agreeing to this deal in the first place is like, it's a submission. It's like, like, yeah, we're willing to like compromise on all these things that we were never supposed to compromise on. And I think the last thing I'm going to leave you with is like the existential crisis for the EU that this all implies. Again, Bruno's piece in the New Statesman wraps it up quite nicely. Last paragraph. It's a catastrophic outcome for a series of reasons. First, more than any other crisis in my lifetime, this deal undermines the very raison d'etre for the European Union. If the EU is, after all, too weak, too divided, too timid to defend European interests on the global stage, what exactly is it for? The individual states can surely be weak on their own. Yeah. And all I'm saying is, I really like to imagine that Jean-Claude Juncker, when he said, we can also do stupid, just in his office started blaring the Black Eyed Peas, Let's Get It Started, non-radio edit. People are surprised to learn that's the real version of the song and the first version.
I mean, it's crazy. It's anyway.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, that's Corner Späti for a week. Enjoy the 15% increase on the Patreon price, probably. I don't know. And we will catch you next time. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.